this off with a question. So who here, just by like a show of hands, has ever seen a theatrical production before? This would be like a show of performance, maybe in a theater. All right, now out of everyone who just raised their hands, who knows what technical theater is? Okay, cool. So that's actually what I'm here to talk about today. You may notice that I don't have any slides, and that's because I kind of want to use tech elements to tell my story just the way that tech crew would during a show. So technical theater. It's most commonly known as lights and sound, but it can also encompass costumes, set design, props, hair, makeup, rigging, basically anything that you can think of that goes on behind the scenes of a production. But there are also a lot of hidden elements within technical theater that a lot of people don't realize at first glance, which obviously makes sense because you're so tuned into the performance itself. And that's why I'm here today. I want to talk more about these unseen elements and tell you all why technical theater means so much to me. So as you may have noticed, there's actually a lot of tech elements going on right now. The lights have been designed and focused to light up my face and illuminate where I'm standing so that you all can see me, so that I can like vaguely see you guys. The sound system allows my voice to travel through this microphone and be projected to you all through the overhead speakers and the house speakers, and that is also an element of technical theater. If you look behind you in that back corner over there, we have our live stream setup where we've been recording this whole thing with the help of our camera and switch operators, and that is also an element of technical theater. Even the big blue curtain that just opened behind me, shout out to our fly operator, Shayla, that's an element of technical theater. So all of us, as audience members, or even as performers, have grown so accustomed to view these things as the default, right? Like it's necessary to keep things functional, it's necessary to keep things safe, that we don't often think twice about why it's happening, how it's happening, or who's behind it all. Which again, makes sense. Like tech is supposed to be somewhat invisible. But it goes a lot deeper than simply being able to see and hear the performance. So let's say I'm in a production of Newsies, right? It doesn't really look like it right now, but once I add this hat and grab this prop, maybe fade in some lighting in the back and start playing some music, already I'm more immersed in the story than I would have been a couple of seconds ago. And obviously, like a successful performance depends on the performers as well. Like hypothetically, I could stand here and belts in the face without any of like this going on, and it could still debatably be like a decent show. But all of these elements that we've added in ultimately help to enhance the performance and, you know, marry different facets of theater to put forth the best production possible. So technical theater doesn't always necessarily have to be showy in order for it to be good, though. Being involved with tech, even just as a high school student, grants a lot of creative liberty to experiment with the way we tell stories and bring a show to life. So another question, really quick. Who here has seen a movie before? Literally everyone, right? And in movies and TV shows and anything of the sort, directors and producers use lighting, camera angles, and musical cues as storytelling tools. Now, tech is the same, and also wildly different, in the sense that we have that same creative freedom, but we don't have the boundary of a two-dimensional screen. So everything that's happening on stage is happening in real time, which means that even though the crew has to be like incredibly quick on their feet and diligent in everything that they do, it also means that we can help to design and shape the show as it's happening. So for example, I could be giving a dramatic monologue in the spotlight. We could have some blue lights behind me for a more somber tone. Or actually, maybe we can make them purple instead. We could fade in some music, really set the scene. No, actually, just kidding, no music. Or maybe halfway through my monologue, I could have like an introspective moment and reflect my inner voice to the audience.
I love technical theater.
Yeah, so weird. Or maybe my inner voice sounds more like my friend Mark.
I love technical theater.
The possibilities are endless. So many of us, though, have grown so accustomed, or just kidding, technical difficulties. So many of us have to, you don't have to be a Broadway-level stage manager in order to express emotion and feeling through your work, though. In fact, even though the tech that we do at Carlmont is purely voluntary, we have so many near-professional opportunities to do just that. Like for all of our big productions, crew is selected for a wide variety positions. So like we have follow spot operator, light board operator, props crew, we have stage hands, mic wranglers, so many more. And all of these jobs help to add multiple dimensions to the show. So like whether it be through fitting mics onto actors, or calling cues on headset, or meticulously organizing props on a props table, each job has a certain set of responsibilities that is essential to the quality of a production. So not only is a tech crew just a bunch of teens dressed in head to toe black, crammed on the side of the stage, or like in the booth up there, just pressing buttons, calling cues, and closing curtains though. And actually, I like to think of it more as like a collective workforce that channels effort and passion into a bigger goal. So similar to cooks in a kitchen or construction workers collaborating behind the scenes, each solid tech crew has a lot of human elements incorporated into it, including respect, communication, trust, and genuine human connection. Trust and communication are actually two really big ones because they're quite literally vital within a show. And that's not only between the performers and technicians, it's also within the crew as well. After all, for each big production, performers are essentially placing their lives in the hands of technicians. Even though it's like morbid to think about, tech theater is really one of the most dangerous jobs you can trust a high schooler with, because there's a sudden chance of death at all times. Anyway, so backstage, we have a complicated system of weights and ropes called our rigging system, and it's operated by fly operators, which are our crew members. So any curtains or drapes or set pieces that you see flying in or out or up and down or in any given direction, that is a fly operator hard at work backstage. And in order to operate this system, you have to go through a training process to learn how it works, the responsibilities that come with it, and all of that. And so it's very, very important to keep everyone on stage safe. So from the outside, the rigging system might look like the most obvious threat to safety, but actually the orchestra pit proves to be pretty dangerous as well. So this chunk of stage, right here, is called our orchestra pit. And it lowers all the way down to the ground in order to form a big gaping hole where musicians can play during shows. And the thing is, there's no barrier between the edge of the stage and the pit, so one misstep can lead to a pretty bad fall. But, and obviously you're thinking too, like, it's like right there, like it would be hard to fall into, but it's actually hard to be aware of your physical space during a show, especially if you're putting your heart and soul into a performance. So tech crew really has to keep an eye out and make sure that nothing happens on this stage. And as I've connected with technicians on a high school, collegiate, and professional level over the years, I've heard of so many theater horror stories like an actor's costume or body part getting caught on a set piece and being flown out with it, or like someone walking into a pitch black theater and accidentally falling into the pit, or even like a series of unprecedented power outages across the Bay Area that caused a lot of blackouts mid-performance. If any of you guys were here for our 2020 musical, Singing in the Rain, it was a lot. But thankfully, there is really just a 1 in a million chance that these occurrences happen. And when they do, tech crew and everyone else in the theater department is well trained to fix them in the most safe and efficient way possible. Plus, it actually helps to improve the confidence of individual crew members and create a more tightly bonded crew, which is one of my favorite parts of the whole process. As we talked about before, everyone on crew plays an essential role in contributing to the quality of the production. So if even just one person was missing, and they could play like the most trivial, mundane role in the process according to others, but if even just one person was missing, the entire process would go haywire. Like with the default settings we talked about, if there were no lights, you wouldn't be able to see them. If there was no sound, you can barely hear me. So many of us have been accustomed to take what we have for granted, especially our current circumstances. And so their absence seems like more of a shock than them being there in the first place. But if there's any concrete takeaway that I've learned from technical theater, it's to appreciate the unseen. Learning what goes on out of the limelight, behind the scenes, or backstage doesn't really strip the magic of a production. I would actually say it adds to it, and that doesn't only go for technical theater. So, right, so not only is crew, a bunch of machinery and wires and shadowy figures backstage, but it's also a creative outlet, a tight-knit community, a way to enhance and unify stories, and most importantly, in my opinion,
a way to navigate your own roles within the world outside of technical theater. So maybe the next time you see a show, you'll notice a change in lighting that you would have completely missed before. Or maybe you'll see like an actor in a Victorian ball gown, and you'll think about the effort and process that went into creating it. Or maybe you'll take what I've been rambling on about and use it to find a new perspective to discover and appreciate the hidden elements of your own day-to-day life. Thank you.